order for us to grow, we have to walk into that wilderness season. And when I say wilderness has to happen by ourselves. And sometimes the wilderness is out here in the wilderness and you're alone. And then sometimes it's diving off of that diving board and jumping. You have to do it in order to grow.
Hey guys, welcome back. I am actually in the studio with the extraordinaire Jay Halim. So I want to give him a shout out, a big shout out, because when I stepped out or leaned further on my faith and really decided to move further with the More movement, I had a few people who were able to feed my spirit. And although he's behind the camera a lot, I want to make sure I give him a huge shout out, because he was one of those souls who kind of fed my spirit. And so I'm actually right here in his studio in Columbia, South Carolina, and I am shooting my my last YouTube videos for 2016. And I must say that I just feel completely blessed. But on the real, the reason I decided to come into the studio is because, I'm telling you, my last 30 days, and don't get me wrong, the last 30 days for me have just been like, every night I go to bed, I'm just like, are we sure we can't add a few more hours in the day, Lord? Like, for real, 24 hours a day just haven't been enough. Like I literally have said a few times, like, I really could get it all done if I had 30 instead of 24. But the reality is we only have 24, and that's all we're gonna get. So on the real, I had to come to the studio today to shoot the video because I had some other things that I needed to get done today. So I wanted to make sure I gave a huge shout out to Jay Halim, and just to show how grateful I am to him to allow me to use the studio today. Last week you all just blessed me so much with your beautiful words of encouragement, your beautiful words of just support. I had no idea the last YouTube video would be received the way it was received. And you may look at the YouTube and say, she only has like, maybe 40 views, but y'all, some of you may not know, like, my inbox messages have been blowing up, and I've just really had a little bit a difficult time trying to keep up with it all. But I'm not complaining. I'm just blessed and grateful. So you all bless my heart, bless my soul so much for receiving last week's message the way you did, because for real, marriage is not a cakewalk. So today I want to talk to you about my daughter. And I know that I've mentioned her several times, and I've mentioned the fact that she was born with some different needs, and I want to share a little bit of that. And the reason I want to is because there's been a lady that I met almost a year ago. She's been so heavy on my spirit, and I cannot remember her name, and it's just been really, she's been on my heart. And the reason she's been on my heart is because I was one of the speakers in a women's workshop about a year ago, and for some reason our spirits became yoked by the fact that she was raising a daughter with special needs. And the thing is when she began to share her story with me, and when she listened to me, she started to weep. She started to literally weep. And I'm so grateful to God that He allowed me to be a strong pillar in that situation, because normally I'm that person, I hear a dog whimper on a commercial, I may shed a few tears. But I'm grateful that He allowed me to be a strong pillar for her, and was able to receive her words. But she has really, really, really been on my heart. And so, I don't know who I'm talking to out there, but I want to share a little bit more about my sweet Caroline. And the thing is, conceiving wasn't easy for me and my husband. Like, Caroline was planned, like really, really. She was a planned, beautiful blessing. And when we finally received the news from the physician that we were expecting, my husband and I just lived in just this wonderful bliss for about 5 months. This wonderful, we were just like under this haze of just full gratitude. And it all kind of came crashing down at my 21-week visit with the physician, and that's when we learned that Caroline was going to be born with spina bifida, hydrocephalus, and Arnold-Chiari type 2 malformation. And although she has turned, her life has just been not only a blessing to me and my husband and her little sister Claudia, but she's been a wonderful blessing to so many other people. And I may be biased a little bit when I say this, but for all of you out there who have children, if your child or your children doesn't have one friend with some type of disability or with some type of special need, whatever that need or special disability may be, I'm telling you, they may be missing out. They really may be missing out. So, but going back to Caroline, and I'm going somewhere with this, and I'm going to attach that beautiful woman that I met a year ago all together, because oftentimes when people look at me and they look at Caroline or they look at our family, they oftentimes forget that Caroline has had the kind of life she's had. She's had several surgeries, and I've mentioned before, 2 of them being brain surgeries. One of those surgeries was to repair a spontaneous brain hemorrhage. And but I guess I just didn't let people in enough to know that. And I say that going back to that beautiful woman, she wept because she said she often felt alone. And we were spiritually yoked together with being blessed with daughters with special needs, but I can't necessarily say that I've really felt alone. And thank God for that. But I just really feel like because of that beautiful woman being on my spirit, I want to just share Caroline's story a little bit and share how she has impacted our life, especially now we're in the holiday season, and especially now is when the time you find people the most compassionate, the most giving. You find them empathizing with people's pain, understanding a little bit better, and becoming a bit more tolerant. This is kind of that season. And when I'm at the end of this, I kind of really want to make an appeal out there to make this or make those emotions travel into 2017. But so Caroline, my sweet Caroline, she didn't walk until she was 3 years old. I mentioned the 2 brain surgeries, and the thing about it is, her walking was actually a Christmas miracle. I get a phone call from her school teacher. I had her in a program, a Christian program at the age of 3, because I knew that I was going to hit the ground running, providing the strongest foundation with Caroline. So yes, I had her in an academic program at 3 years old, even though she did not walk. I get a phone call from the school teacher. The school teacher, hello? And all I hear is crying on the phone, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, here's the phone call I've been dreading. Well, thankfully to the headmaster of that Christian school, he or she gets on the phone. She said, it's not an emergency. It's not an emergency. She's just so happy. She's just so happy. Caroline is walking. Caroline is walking. I'm just thinking to myself, what? She's walking? And at that time, Caroline was using a walker to get around. And she would try her hardest to get around. And the children were hanging Christmas ornaments on the Christmas tree. And my baby wanted to do the same. She wanted to hang her Christmas ornament on the Christmas tree too. And she was across the room watching all of the children with their smiles hang their Christmas ornaments on the Christmas tree, and without her knowing, the will of God just came into her spirit. And she took her steps all the way across the room. And that girl hung her Christmas ornament on her Christmas tree. And you all, to God be the glory, we have never looked back. The girl didn't even realize that she had done it. She didn't even realize that she walked clear across that classroom to hang her Christmas ornament on that Christmas tree. And to God be the glory, Caroline has never returned back to that walker. As a matter of fact, that day we put that walker in the garage and we have never used it again. So I hope sharing just a little bit of that story, and as you continue to follow me, you're going to learn a little bit more, because now Caroline's 11-year-old. She's an 11-year-old fifth grader. And although we've had some hiccups and some challenges and a few hills that we've had to kind of climb, all in all, she's had a wonderful, beautiful life. But I wanted to share that story with you all because we are in the season of Jesus' birth. And I'm sure there is a reason that Christ has allowed that beautiful woman that I met a year ago to just, I guess, saturate my spirit. Like, really, like, I'm almost thinking about her all day long, and I'm going to figure out a way to reach out to her to see how she's doing, to check in on her, so I can see how I maybe could pray for her, or how, I don't know, maybe we can become friends. I just don't know why Jesus Christ is allowing her spirit to saturate mine lately. And the only way that I don't even know if she follows me on Instagram. I don't even know if she's following my YouTube, if she's a subscriber. I don't know. If you are, if she is, I'm hoping that she's hearing this, because she's just been a blessing already in my life. And if there is a new mother out there who's just received the news that your baby is going to be born with, I don't know, with something, stay encouraged. Stay encouraged. And let me say this too. After my husband and I got used to the idea of our precious Caroline, our sweet Caroline, being born with her diagnosis, our tears turned into smiles, like, all the time. Like, that pregnancy bliss that we experienced those first 5 months, like, it returned, and it returned so bountifully. Like, it was just overwhelmingly, it returned. And I remember when people would learn of the news, and I was fully pregnant at the time, and people would try to touch my belly and want to pray over my belly, and I just wouldn't let them do it. I couldn't let them do it, because people wanting to pray away what God has already said is so, that's not right. So literally, you all, I would literally stop people in their tracks. Like, don't pray away what God has done here. God doesn't make mistakes. He knew who he was giving this to. And I will forever be grateful for Jesus Christ for thinking that much of me. I will forever be grateful for Jesus Christ thinking that much for me, to give me someone like Caroline. So, here's my appeal. If you have children, if you don't have children and you're in a child's life sometimes, and you may be that surrogate mother, or you may be that surrogate father, encourage them to form relationships with people who not only who are different in color or different in gender, but encourage them to befriend children or people who may be dealing with some type of medical issue. it may be physical, it may be social, it may be like, my children have a friend with diabetes. Something. Because I'm telling you, if they don't have those kind of relationships, and again, I'm biased, they're missing out. They truly are, because those are the children who teach us compassion, who teach us empathy, who teach us sensitivity, who teach us what it looks like to really be an encourager and really be a supporter. Those are the people who provide those most beautiful gifts in life. All right, you all. This is your girl speaking authentically. This is your girl speaking transparently. I hope that I have been able to reach somebody out there. I don't know, you all. Trust me, whenever I get in front of this camera, I have no idea whose heart or whose spirit I'm going to touch. And that's just such a blessing, because I'm not doing this to gain numbers. I'm doing this because I really want people to begin to live their most authentic selves. And for me, I believe the only way that one can do that is to form a true relationship with Jesus Christ. So thank you for listening to me today. Again, reach out to someone who may have some type of disability. They'll bless your soul. And let's do what the universe is so craving us to do. Let's live our lives authentically, and let's give the universe love. Hit your girl up on Instagram, hit me on Twitter, and you can always find me on Facebook at The More Movement.